Duel Review is brought to you by NexusDigitalComics.com.
This week on Duel Review, Punch-Out, the video game, followed by Mission Hill, the series.
We take a look at Scott Pilgrim, the movie, and we start off the week with Scott Pilgrim, the comics. I'm RJ.
And I'm Nick.
Let's get to it. Christmas is coming.
Welcome to Monday the 19th of December. We are doing Scott Pilgrim, the comics.
That's right. 2004 to 2010, Brian Lee O'Malley. It is from Canada, the Canadians.
Canadians.
And it's a really good comic. Most of you are familiar with the movie, of course, which got kind of mediocre success. It was kind of an underground, which, you know, is a major release, but underground success. You know,
Okay.
Critics are kind of divided about that. We'll be talking about that on Friday.
Yep, we'll be reviewing that on Friday.
But so we're talking about the comic. There's it's a 6 set series. You can buy them as a set now from Amazon or whatever. 2004 to 2010, so they came out, you know, fairly spaced apart. I didn't get them until like 2009, so
yeah.
I was like right at the end. I had to wait for the last book, but other than that, I didn't have to wait. So you wanted to say something about the format?
Yes, I did. What I like about this comic, because it is a comic, it's, you know, but it's done like in a manga-ish form. You know, it's got the small packaging, I guess.
Well, small format, lots of pages.
Small format, lots of pages. Thank you.
It is black and white.
The art is fairly manga-ish.
Yeah. It's kind of a Canadian American style manga.
I think it totally works, and you read it from right to left, which is right to left, left to right, right to left, right to left. I'm trying to remember my directions.
What are you talking about? Left to right?
Huh? Left to right. Me with the directions. Left to right.
When you start reading manga, if you haven't, it gets kind of confusing because they do the opposite of everything. So
right.
It's like
Although,
you read down like this and
you know what's funny?
And,
the first time I started reading manga, and I think it was what was the name of the title? I think it was like Ragnarok or something. I was like, wow, this is a very interesting story. It talks about it in reverse.
It's very Memento.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I just didn't know I was supposed to read left to right, right to left.
So yeah, Scott Pilgrim, it's got the same, you know, appeal as the movie, but even more so. There's a lot more time in here. There's a lot more time spent on each of the evil ex-boyfriends.
Right.
And it's really fun. It starts off a little bit tame. I think he hadn't quite found his stride. I was talking to him about how it's kind of like a lead singer of a band that becomes famous, but the first record he's a little bit different.
Now, just to clarify, you're talking about Scott Pilgrim or
no, Brian Lee O'Malley.
Brian Lee O'Malley,
the author. It's a little bit more tame. It's not quite as quirky in the first issue. It's still fun. I mean, there's, you know, it's got this weird, you know, like subspace superhighways through like people's heads and stuff. And, that we'll get into it when we talk about the film, but unfortunately they didn't really do that justice in the film.
Right.
So we follow Scott mostly, and this is the one thing that is different from the movie, I think. Scott is kind of this quirky, nerdy guy, but at the same time he's super cool and, well, you know, he's cool and he's a really good fighter, which they don't really allude to. I mean, you know, obviously he is in the movie, but they don't set that up.
Right.
But he's just like, they're always like, oh, Scott will win. He's an awesome fighter. I mean, just look at the cover, you know. He's very confident. He's a confident Scott Pilgrim. Anyway, it follows him. You know, he does have a relationship with Knives Chow at the beginning, which is kind of like this easy. You know, she's a high schooler, so he's not rushed. He's not you know, pushed into an adult relationship. He can just kind of relax, whatever. But then along comes Ramona Flowers and takes his focus, and basically it's just him trying to make her happy. By fighting her evil ex-boyfriends, which I think is brilliant. It's a brilliant trope. So, like, I hadn't heard about it before. You know, I can't think of anything that is like that.
It's very simple. It's, you know,
it's very video game-esque without being, and I think the movie stresses a little bit more video game stuff than the book does. But the book definitely has that flavor. And when we talk about the movie, you know, it's brilliant that they kind of took that and expanded on it. But it does have a lot of quirky, you know, music references and video games and robots and all sorts of stuff. And it's really easy to read. It doesn't take very long. I can, you know, see that it was probably maddening for people because I mean, like you could literally read this in an hour, this book, and so if they came out so slowly, it would be like, oh, it'd be torture. But it's a lot of fun. Each one is basically dedicated to an evil ex. There's only 6, so the twins count as one, much as they did in the movie. But not like the movie. The twins they're given a lot more time to develop and justice in the book, of course. They're actually engineers of robots, like they make robots to fight Scott for them, kind of thing, and they do eventually end up fighting Scott. But there's a lot of little things like that they had to kind of roll together in the movie
to shorten it up.
That you'll wanna explore in the books. And Ramona changes her hair not just in color but in length, and they have a relationship where they live together, and you kind of get this funny dynamic where he locks himself out, and I don't know, whatever. And there's a lot of relational stuff that everybody can relate to.
Right.
And yet they do the subspace superhighway, and Scott has like broken lots of hearts, and so a lot of them come back, and Knives Chow, who's dumped early on, always is she's mad at Scott, but she really takes it out on Ramona, and she tries to fight Ramona a couple times, and then Kim, who's in the band with Scott, they had a previous relationship, and she's always kind of you can tell there's something there still with her, but Scott is totally oblivious to it. Then they throw in Wallace, which is really brilliant, which is like the gay kind of best friend, I guess. Mm-hmm. He's almost like a strange brother-father figure as well, I think. But he has a shining with Scott, and he always messes with him. They slept in the same bed, a couple times and whatever, and he always, texts him, like whatever, little things that are suggestive, and so that's kind of fun. It really kind of, I don't know, it's not too heavy, it's not too bizarre, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's like if you took everything that we've been through, and relationship wise and in life, and then threw in all the things that we love, video games, anime, comics, all that stuff, this is the product that you would get.
A mix. It really could be a touchstone for our generation.
Right.
I'm not sure that it will be, because I think that a lot of people, this is part of why we wanted to review it, is because I think a lot of people miss it. A lot of people have seen the film and maybe are interested, but I'm not going to go back and read them or whatever. You should read them. The movie wouldn't exist without them, obviously. And
what RJ is saying is Scott Pilgrim is going to be the next Tom Sawyer.
No, I don't think so. But it could definitely say something about our generation. It just plugs in so perfectly.
Yeah.
Gideon, we'll talk about it when we do the movie, but they really captured the flavor of a lot of the ex-boyfriends.
Yeah.
Gideon no more so. He's kind of this shady character. It's very nerdy, and it's just kind of this weird, like, really? Like, he's got so much power, and Ramona loves him, so, what's going on here? Because Scott doesn't really know, we don't really know until the very last book. So, I don't know. Subspace highways through people's heads? That's kind of an odd thing to just throw in there, and they're like, oh, you're from Canada, you wouldn't understand that, but I'm American, so, it's like they use them all the time.
Right.
Oh, have you ever played the video game?
I have.
You know what I'm talking about? The one, like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or whatever, back in the day, the arcade.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, that one actually explores a lot more of the highway. The ending of every level, you get zipped to somewhere else, kind of thing. But the movie, it's just kind of odd. It's never really explained. It's just kind of used. It's like, that's how they can get from point A to point B really quickly.
Yeah, well, I think...
have a strange panel in between.
Yeah, and it kind of throws it off, because a lot of it, in the movie specifically, when you defeat evil ex-boyfriend, the coins shower.
Yeah. Here too. Sometimes he gets treats.
Right. Well, the coins, what I'm saying is everything odd that happens to Scott Pilgrim, I could say, oh, that's all in Scott Pilgrim's head. That's just the way he sees life. Uh-huh. But then you have this the highway, and it's just like, that kind of removes that belief,
that possibility.
Yeah, that possibility that it's all just in his head.
Well, definitely in the book you can tell, and they do some breaking of the fourth wall kind of thing, where like a character is like glowing,
right,
or has action lines or whatever, and they actually use that as part of the plot. That's like an indication that Ramona, whatever. I'm not gonna give it away, but they also do some really clever things. I'm trying to find one. just they pop in little text. Oh, Scott Pilgrim's always winning everything, which is awesome. It's like Scott Pilgrim wins his birthday. Scott Pilgrim wins the party, and it's like he fights a robot and beats the robot, and it's just like Scott Pilgrim wins. It's just that's awesome. But they also do these little tidbits in here of text, and they're usually done on black. They kind of narrate the story. They give you an insight into the character's state of mind, or they tell you something about the scene.
Right.
Just usually they're really quirky and fun. So anyway. There's a lot of great little innovations that they did, O'Malley did, in writing these books. And again, they're a quick read. You could probably read all of them in a day. Well, I'm sure you could.
I could.
Yeah.
I'm not good.
Yeah, it's funny. It's a lot of fun. It's not as edgy as it used to be. I mean, in today's comparison, it's just not.
It used to be as edgy as far as in the comics, the old comics that we grew up with. Gotcha.
Right, because when they came out, they were much more edgier and weirder. I mean, they were weird. They were farther, whatever. They went out of the norm more than they do
farther
today.
Removed from
by
reality.
Today's standards, they're fairly tame, but they're really enjoyable. I think characters are memorable. Scott Pilgrim is the cool adult who doesn't get it.
That's me.
But does get it.
That's not me.
And the one thing that's lacking, I think, is more of the music. Like, they do definitely share some of the lyrics and whatnot, but I thought the movie was really fun to hear the music. And I mean, obviously you can't hear it in the comic, but you could,
you can if you're crazy.
More of the lyrics. Yeah, there you go. Maybe I'm just not crazy enough. So I highly recommend it. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely do. I think you should read the series before you read the book. Read the series before you watch the movie, right? Just because it gets very into all the characters and all the backstory, and you can get inside his head a little bit more. And I think it works almost better than the movie.
Yeah. Well, it definitely gives more time for the characters to develop. And
right.
The movie is hilarious.
It is.
The first time I watched it, I was a little disappointed, though, honestly. Because, the books, it wasn't quite the same. And they really, we'll talk about it again at the movie, but they really rushed through some things. And so I was a little chagrined. But I watched the movie again recently, and it just not worrying about that, not being concerned about that, it's fun.
It is fun. It's very entertaining.
But it's different. So it's got the same flavor, but I think this is, I agree, I think this is better.
Yep.
So that's it. Right?
Yep.
Okay. Nick wins the review.
Nick wins.
Last one.
Is it?
Nick wins the review again.
And this one's stuck.
Next time on Duel Review, it's Punch Out, the video game.
Punch out. Okay. This week on Duel Review, Punch Out, the video game, followed by Mission Hill, the animated movie series.
Animated movie series. I threw you off. Yeah.
But do it again, because that was funny. Okay.
Nice. Mexican Coke.
It's a keeper.
The Coke they have at Costco, the Mexican kind with the, it's sold in Mexico. I shouldn't say it's Mexican Coke, but it has cane sugar instead of refined white sugar. It's delicious and slightly better for you. Although we should all know by now that soda's not exactly great. Yeah, there you go, product placement. Coca-Cola.
I think that's why I like it. I like it so much because it is kind of like in the manga format, but it's
not really.
It's
you don't have to read it left to right.
That's what I was gonna say. It's like a combination of
smaller.
It's a combination of comic and manga. I enjoy it. Welcome to Monday the 19th of December. We're doing Scott Pilgrim, the animated comic. Wait, sorry. Okay. Welcome to Wednesday. Listen to me.
What is it? Chicken.
Oh, that's what this is. This is in the shop.
No, it's not.
It was.
No, it's not.
It was.
No, it's not. That bar. That bar doesn't show.
No, there was a yellow bar. It was a glare. Let me see if we can read there it is.
See, that doesn't show. See that grayed area in the bottom? That doesn't show.
Oh.
Neither does the green area at the top.
I didn't know that.
Never listen.